Be ready. 5 seconds. Start. In this batch of transferred cases, transfer petitions, writ petitions, and the petition for special leave to appeal, the challenge is to the Constitution which came into effect on 14/1/2019, whereby the Parliament has amended Article 15 and 16 of the Constitution of India by adding two new clauses, which clause 6 to Article 15 with explanation and clause 6 to Article 16, and thereby the state has been empowered inter alia to provide for a maximum of 10% reservation for the economically weaker sections of citizens other than the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, and the non-creamy layer of the other backward classes. At the outset, it needs to be stated that the amendment in question does not mandate but enables reservation for EWS and prescribes a ceiling limit of 10%. In a very brief outline of the forthcoming discussion, it could be noticed that the challenge to the amendment in question is premised essentially on threefold grounds. First, that making of special provisions, including reservation in education and employment on the basis of economic criteria, is entirely impermissible and offends the basic structure of the Constitution. Second, that in any case, exclusion of socially and educationally backward classes, that is, SCs, STs, and non-creamy layer OBCs, from the benefit of these special provisions for EWS is inexplicably discriminatory and destroys the basic structure of the Constitution. And third, that providing for 10% additional reservation directly breaches the 50% ceiling of reservations already settled by the decisions of this court, and hence results in unacceptable abrogation of the Equality Code, which again destroys the basic structure of the Constitution. Per contra, it is maintained on behalf of the sides opposing this challenge that the amendment in question empowering the state to make special provisions for the economically weaker sections of citizens is squarely within the four corners of the Constitution of India. Rather, making of such provisions is necessary to achieve the preambular goal of justice, social, economic, and political in real sense of terms. It is also asserted that there is no discrimination in relation to the classes that are excluded from EWS for the simple reason that the existing special provisions of affirmative action in their relation continue to remain in operation in the future. As regards the breach of 50% ceiling of reservations, the contention is that the said ceiling is not inflexible or inviolable, and in the context of the object sought to be achieved, 10% has been provided as the maximum by way of the enabling provision. With the foregoing outline, we may usefully take note of the reference made to the Constitution bench for determination of the substantial questions of interpretation of the Constitution, as are involved in these matters and the questions formulated while commencing the hearing. By an order, a three-judge bench of this court took note of the issues arising in these matters and referred the same for determination by a constitution bench while observing inter alia as under. By virtue of the impugned amendments, very constitution is amended by inserting new clauses in Article 15 and 16 thereof, which empower the state to make reservations by way of affirmative action to the extent of 10% to economically weaker sections. It is the case of the petitioners that the very amendments run contrary to the constitutional scheme, and no segment of available seats or posts can be reserved only on the basis of economic criterion. As such, we are of the view that such questions do constitute substantial questions of law to be considered by a bench of 5 judges. It is clear from the language of Article 145 within bracket 3 of the Constitution and Rule 1 within bracket 1 of the Supreme Court Rules 2013 the matters which involve substantial questions of law as to interpretation of constitutional provisions. They are required to be heard a bench of 5 judges. Whether the Impugned Amendment Act violates basic structure of the Constitution by applying the tests of width and identity with reference to equality provisions of the Constitution is a matter which constitutes substantial question of law within the meaning of the provisions as referred above. Further, on the plea of ceiling of 50% for affirmative action, it is the case of the Respondent Union of India that though ordinarily 50% is the rule, but same will not prevent to amend the Constitution itself. In view of the existing special circumstances to uplift the members of the society belonging to economically weaker sections. Even such questions also constitute as substantial questions of law to be examined by a bench of 5 judges. Pursuant to the order aforesaid, this batch of matters has been referred to this Constitution bench for determination of the issues arising from the challenge to the 103rd Amendment. The court is after pursuing the issues suggested by learned counsel. The lower court has blamed the appellant for not producing any document to show that vacant rooms are available in possession of the respondent. I cannot agree with the observation made by the lower court. When there is an admission by PW1 that there are vacant rooms, there is no need to produce any document. It can also be seen that the appellant has produced Exhibit B3 series document building tax assessment register. It would show that some of the rooms belonging to the respondent are lying vacant. The lower court refused to rely upon Exhibit B3 series, observing that though the petition schedule shop rooms are admittedly in the possession of the appellant, one of the rooms is shown as lying vacant. it is for the landlord to report about the occupation of the rooms to the panchayat. Without doing that, he cannot blame the respondent or take advantage of the absence of entry regarding the occupation of the building in the building tax assessment register. On these grounds, therefore, the bona fide requirement of the landlord for additional accommodation was turned down by the appellate authority. So far as the room leased by the mother-in-law of the tenant is concerned, and on comparative hardship, the appellate authority found, even if it is considered for a moment that the need of the respondent is bona fide, that the hardship which would be caused to the tenant would outweigh the advantage to the landlord in case of eviction of the petition.